Last night, all three network newscasts reported 7 Afghan children were killed in fighting between the Taliban and U.S. forces. ABC News spent 15 seconds on the story. Just told you about it. CBS News, 10 seconds. But NBC News gave it a full 2 minutes. Dead Afghan kids killed in an American airstrike. NBC News is jazzed. But why? You make the call. The liberal press has made a big deal out of the fact that Fox News devotes less time to Iraq than our competitors at CNN and MSNBC. The question is, what kind of coverage are you getting from them and others who show carnage without context? Again, Talking Points asserts that showing pictures of terrorist activity purely for the visual helps the terrorists and doesn't advance the Iraq story. Now, we don't censor the news on the factor. We tell you the truth about what's happening in Iraq and everyone else. But we don't help the terrorists either. And that separates us from some in the anti-war press.
In Iraq, U.S. attack helicopters opening fire on a group of people trying to slip past a checkpoint north of Baghdad happened in the town of Baquba. The American military reports it killed 17 suspected al-Qaeda militants in that attack. U.S. troops just moved into Baquba this week. Commanders say most of the militants got out of there and escaped ahead of time, but not before planting dozens of roadside bombs around town. The top day-to-day commander of U.S. troops in Iraq says that it's too early to tell how long the recent troop surge should last. But speaking to reporters from the Pentagon from his headquarters outside Baghdad, he said it may be possible to reduce combat forces by next spring if Iraq's own security forces continue to grow and improve. He also reports something interesting to say about Iran. Jennifer Griffin has that and some breaking news tonight from the Pentagon. Jennifer.
Shep, we just got word from U.S. commanders in Baquba, Iraq, saying that they had found a torture house today during their searches. Inside, they found knives, saws, and bloodstains on the walls. Earlier today, we talked to General Odierno in a briefing from Baghdad. He explained some of the successes of the surge. He pointed out that attacks in Ramadi were down to a 2-year low. He also said Baghdad murders are down from 93 a week in January to just 33 in the second week of June. This video just released by the Pentagon shows U.S. forces called in by the Iraqis to take out insurgents firing on their posts southeast of Baghdad. General Odierno said if in the next 60 to 90 days these increased operations are successful and the Iraqi security forces are strong enough, U.S. troops could start drawing down by the spring.
If you ask me today, and the confidence I think I'm going to have in our success here, I think there's a good potential for that. And I think there's a potential we'll be able to reduce forces.
Meanwhile, Operation Arrowhead Ripper continues in Baquba. General Odierno said today that along with a surge in U.S. forces, there's also been a surge since March in Iranian efforts to send weapons and train Shiite militias to fight against U.S. and Iraqi forces.
I think they are trying to surge their support to Shia extremists. We've seen an increased flow of training to mortar teams and rocket teams.
Another positive sign that General Odierno pointed to is that the government of Nouri al-Maliki, the prime minister, has fired 17 out of 24 police battalion commanders. He said today that they were involved in fueling sectarian violence. Shepard?
Jennifer, Associated Press is now flashing an urgent bulletin out of Afghanistan regarding NATO troops. What do you learn?
Well, we've heard that there were 2 very major battles along the border with Pakistan today, and 80 insurgents were killed altogether. In one instance, 60 insurgents allied with the Taliban attacked NATO forces there. They were repelled. All 60 were killed, we understand, from the NATO forces out there. And then in Kandahar, another 20 were killed in a 7-hour firefight down there. You'll remember that a Taliban offensive, a spring offensive, never really materialized. This may have been an attempt by the Taliban to strike back, but it seems like NATO was successful today.
Sounds that way. Jennifer Griffin with breaking news at the Pentagon.
America's best political coverage.